Welcome to NTT Data's podcast series. My name is Ayman Hussain. Very excited to be here because I have Sashi joining me here, and we're going to talk about cloud, AI, innovation, and all things that are happening in the industry today. Welcome, Sashi.
Thank you, Ayman. Glad to be here. I'm Sashi. I come with 20 years of experience in the financial services sector. I've joined NTT Data as the global leader for AWS for all industries, and very happy to see what's coming next year.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about is the strategies that we are seeing our customers looking forward to doing. Is there an innovation focus? Is there a cost optimization focus? Is it a cost takeout? Can you tell us a little bit of what you're hearing and finding in the industry today?
Cloud always has been primarily a topic of, can I save cost? That's given. But cloud always comes with a lot of innovation. That's where what we see our customers are unlocking the value of cloud. But what's happening is because of the market situation in the last 6 to 8 quarters, the cloud or move towards the cloud investment is staying flat. And it's not just me who's saying it. In NTT Data, we ran a cloud report. We went over 13 industries across the globe. We collected information from the cloud execs. And the number was not surprising, but I'll just share for the team here is, across the board, across 13 industries, just 18% of the customers said that they feel they are cloud evolved. Having said that, 97%, almost all of them agrees that cloud is the way to get the innovation out. So what's happening in the industry right now? The budgets are flat. The customers are feeling pressure for getting the cost efficiency out of it. But somewhere the innovation hasn't seen the value yet in across the board. But with the advent of AI that is coming in, the Agentic that is coming in, what we have seen is there are some pockets where the ROI of Agentic is coming up, but mostly around the SDLC side right now. But we have seen customers have geared up, at least in 2025 and half of 2024, that customers did was they have created their base very strongly. So that's where the industry is going. But the exciting times are ahead. We are all geared up to see how the value unlocks from where we are today.
Excellent. Let me pivot on that. So we here at NTT Data do a lot of agentic AI conversations. We are leading and almost on the tip of the spear on that conversation. Do you think that's going to enable a lot more innovation and less about the structural cost savings, cost optimization conversations? Because innovation is a key factor of staying competitive in the industry, whatever their industry may be.
Yeah. In the NTT Data, what we are doing is, obviously, Agentic is at the forefront. Mm-hmm. Agentic is infused into every other customer service that we are doing, right from the private cloud data centers to the public cloud from the digital side. But what's happening is, and again, it's again the industry reaction that is happening. Software productivity was easier to achieve through SDLC. The number is 30% that's going on in the market these days. Everybody is after saving 30% of cost, which they know that they can achieve it with the smart SDLC setup where you can use GenAI to develop code, test requirements. That's all happening. Now on the agentic part, what we are seeing is one broad theme in the customer side is the customer experience part, where industry has seen the benefit that has come out of it. With the customer experience using agentic part, which we call hyper personalization, that has seen a tremendous ROI from the customers in the agentic part. In the financial services side, the KYC is getting a lot of value using the agentic part, where we can do quick KYC.
KYC stands for Know Your Customer.
Know Your Customer, exactly, where the data is there. And in the payment sector, the fraud part, because there's so much fraud happening, we can't even imagine, 5 out of 10 transactions, they have to look into the fraud there. There's a lot of billions of dollars get lost.
Trust me, I know that here in Vegas when I'm hanging out and my credit card goes up on alerts every time I spend $1 because they think it might be fraud.
Exactly, and we have to be careful about that. So that's where the agents are sitting, listening, and they are helping avoid these leakages around us. That's where we are seeing a big growth coming.
Awesome. What is your feeling, and what are you also hearing from the customers that you're talking with in advisory boards? Is there a multi-cloud opinion? There's private cloud, there's hybrid cloud, there's public cloud, there's sovereign cloud. So what are you hearing? What are you seeing?
So if we take a step back, we go back 3.5 years when multiple hyperscalers were coming in. One big reason for our customers to go multi-cloud was to avoid lock into a hyperscaler. That was one of the thought. Second was around the regulations. The regulatory bodies came and said that you cannot have all your critical workloads on one hyperscaler, rather you should have two. So that was a theme that was going on. But as of now, and what is going to happen in the next future, which I see is, the multi-cloud is more driven through which region you are, which ecosystem you are. For example, Europe, there is a big push on the sovereign cloud, and where entity data is actually leading the pack, being the launch partner of AWS European Sovereign Cloud setup.
Oh, very cool.
So the sovereign cloud is going to be a combination of multi-cloud. It will have a hybrid part to it. There will be different operations that will go. So that's where the theme will emerge. If you look at the North America market, in the last 2 years or 3 years, there's a lot of M&A activities that is happening. So if a customer is using one hyperscaler and they do a big M&A and it's on the another hyperscaler, that's driving the multi-cloud culture there. They are not doing that I want to do multi-cloud because of M&A activities that is happening. But yes, the multi-cloud is going to stay there. In fact, this morning in the Matt Garman's announcement, he announced how AWS is partnering with other hyperscalers where they can have a more seamless data integration. The data flow can happen between hyperscalers at a much lightning fast speed than customer getting worried about the multi-cloud. So that theme is picking up. It's going to stay. We just have to make sure customers get the best out of it. And again, it's not about locking into one hyperscaler to another, but it's going to be the way of the future in the multi-cloud. That's
excellent. Excellent. When sovereignty is invoked outside of the geography or the zip code, so to speak, what qualities of sovereignty that we just announced becomes relevant? Like, what is it that it gives that somebody wasn't aware of before?
I think it's important to understand that on the sovereign cloud part, what in Europe, you should not have any connectivity when you talk sovereign cloud. It should stay in Europe. Okay. Like, for example, if you go to AWS and you put something on S3, which is global, it gets replicated across regions.
Okay.
So data is copied. But the way AWS has put up, it's like an air gap cloud.
Okay.
So the air gap solution, sovereign cloud in Europe, the data will stay in Europe. Obviously, it will be encrypted. Everything will follow the rules and modalities around it. But that the data and everything will stay in the sovereign, and it is there. In fact, we discussed yesterday with AWS, India as a country, they also have a sovereign coming up very fast. So their whole sovereign concept is going to get replicated at multiple places. Now to your previous question, about the agentic and multi-cloud, how it is happening, it is confusing. Because which agent...
It's not me only, because I get confused easily.
It is confusing for the customers, because should I use one technology? Should I use an industry-specific agent? It gets very difficult for our customers. And we in NTT Data, we have been investing and we have been looking into this thing for a long time. So the very interesting solution NTT Data has, which is an operations management of cloud on AWS, but it can cover multiple streams of operations around it. It has agents built into it. So the operation part of the customer is taken care of. Now the second part in the customer is, I am a healthcare provider, I'm a financial services, and I am in the energy. What NTT Data has, and because of decades of solutions that we have a very rich set of API libraries for industries. We have that. And what we have done in the last 1 year is we have added agents on top of it. We have created industry service as a software concept. Where we are telling our customers, look, if you want to build something on Agentic...
Industry service as a software.
Exactly. So what we are saying is...
innovative.
It's very interesting. And we don't know the whole industry for a customer. Customer knows the best.
Yes.
But what we are bringing on the table is, as a platform that will have 30%, 40% agents, APIs ready to go, which is integrated to all the ecosystem. And then we work with the customer to actually build up their stack, and which is completely will be a full stack setup where we bring in 30% ready available APIs for them, and they add on top of it. And then it becomes a full-blown industry as a software for the customer.
Okay, so let's talk about, if I was a decision maker and owner of the pockets, ROI, return on the investment. And we as NTT Data always get asked, like, hey, you're gonna make me spend money, what is it that I get back? What's your thoughts on that?
As I said earlier, in SDLC, 30% can be achieved, but the ROI computation from the business perspective is changing a lot. AWS Transform, for example, is a service that AWS has, and we have been working very closely with them. To give the example on using these services, which is agentic in it, let's take an example of mainframe.
Yeah.
Big, expensive systems sitting there for 60, 70
They're still
years.
around.
They're still around.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who knew COBOL, either they have retired or they're about to leave the organization because that, and there's a skill gap that is increasing very fast. And mainframe is pretty core. Now, if a customer have to transform their mainframe to AWS, they don't have time, first of all. They don't have skills also, because the teams have, the folks who used to do it, they have retired. There's very less people who know COBOL, who can put their hand into COBOL and convert it. That's where the agents come into the picture. The agents can read COBOL just like that, because they are trained on reading COBOL or the kick setup or the batch jobs. And they can convert the code into Java or .NET, and you can put it on a container to AWS.
Very cool.
Now, this is an amazing example when we talk about ROI. Because earlier, customers used to lift and shift their COBOL to, let's say, package solution. In fact, entity data has a very good example called Unikix, where we can use that.
Sure.
But if a customer wants to reimagine that, because for any transaction, if they are paying $10, they want to spend only $1 now, the only way is to go transform it to distributed setup, because they don't want to pay MIPS on the cost side. Now, agents are coming in. Now, what's happening with the agentic part is they are getting 10 times, 20 times ROI on top of it. So that's a big push that is happening. And we are very proud that the AWS Transform services that were launched yesterday in the reInvent here, we are a part of it. So we are working with them, and it's evolving very fast. We have our own solution that can attach to the composability of AWS Transform, so that we can help our customers not just with one service, but our service also all coming together.
In a couple years, 3 years, give me some tidbits of where you feel both AI, cloud, public, sovereign, what is the next thing you'll be catching?
I have a strong conviction that agents are here to stay big time. The AI is disrupting the market and in the industry big time. And what we will see in 3 years from the time, they will be very trustworthy agents. And trust is a very important term for agents, because the way I trust you as my peer, you trust me, you'll start trusting an agent sitting here virtually with us. You never know, after 3 years, we'll be having an interview with an agent.
I'll be replaced. It'll be a little robot sitting here.
That will be amazing, because we can start trusting an agent. They will do the job what we are doing, and the innovation focus is going to shift like anything. And that's where the industry is going.
Excellent. Great having you here, Sashi. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to hearing more in the near future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.